Hello, you're listening to the audio version of Parkrun magazine. Thanks so much for joining us. This audio mag is a place to find out more about leading a happier and healthier lifestyle, as well as hearing from the communities and people at the heart of parkrun events across the United Kingdom. Welcome to Series 4. Thanks so much for joining us for the first episode of the fourth series of the audio version of the Parkrun magazine. This season, we'll be sharing some of the stories from issue 4 of the printed edition of Parkrun magazine, which was originally published in autumn 2023. Coming up in this episode, we find out more about parkrun sandwiches. Spoiler alert, you don't eat them in the café afterwards. We'll also have a chat to Casualty star George Rainsford and hear how one woman discovered parkrun as a way to help her work through grief. But let's start things off with some words of welcome from Helen Dickens, Parkrun's Head of People and Culture. Her words are spoken by an actor.
Welcome to the fourth edition of Parkrun magazine. Each week, Parkrun volunteers enable communities to be active together outdoors, and I am delighted that this series focuses on those volunteers. As Head of People and Culture at Parkrun, one of the best parts of my job is meeting volunteers, learning about why they volunteer, and talking about how we can support them. Parkrun carries out regular research to see how our volunteers are feeling. In 2023, we asked volunteers about the impact of volunteering at Parkrun. 9 out of 10 who replied said they felt happier, at least 8 out of 10 reported improved mental health, and at least 6 out of 10 have seen improvements to their physical health. If you're interested in volunteering, I recommend you chat to someone in a high-vis vest at your local event or visit the website. For me, the most rewarding thing about volunteering has been the opportunity to get to know my local parkrun community. Shout out to the lovely people at Prospect Parkrun. Our volunteer roles help people to connect with others, whether that's walking around the course together, collecting cones after an event, or sorting out tokens in the café. Getting the pop-up back into its bag is certainly not a one-person job. In summer 2023, Parkrun secured funding from the London Marathon Grant Award to support junior events. We are delighted. The opportunity for us to enable even more children to get active for free on a Sunday morning is even more vital as families continue to face the challenges of the cost of living crisis. We've packed a lot into this series, from trying out new hobbies to cooking fakeaways at home, and of course, celebrating Parkrun's volunteer community. I hope you enjoy listening to this series of the audio magazine.
Have you ever wondered what it's like being an actor in a touring production? Apart from the inside of the theatre, how much of the town you're visiting do you actually get to see? Actor George Rainsford toured the UK during the first half of 2023 and came up with a brilliant way of exploring his surroundings. And it was all about parkrun. We sat down with George and found out more about the roles parkrun and running play in his life. His words are spoken by an actor.
You might know George Rainsford for his portrayal of Dr. Ethan Hardy in Casualty, or you perhaps remember him playing Jimmy Wilson in the first couple of series of Called Midwife. You may even have been lucky enough to see him on stage in 2023 in Peter James's Wish You Were Dead. But did you know that while he was on tour with that show, George was on a mission to take part in the closest parkrun to his theatre every Saturday morning? He says, "When I got this job on a theatre tour, I thought it'd be quite a fun thing to get back into parkrun, which I haven't been able to do for a few years. George's children take part in Saturday morning clubs and activities, and try to do one in every venue of the tour. I made the rule that I'd do the closest one to my accommodation, so I didn't have to use public transport or a car or anything to get there. I'd run there, do it, run back. It's good. It's quite a fun way of seeing the country." George clocked up an amazing 22 different parkruns during the tour. As well as being a regular on telly, George is an accomplished theatre actor. He's appeared in productions at the Royal National Theatre and the Royal Court in London, Birmingham Repertory Theatre, the Bristol Old Vic, on tour with the Royal Shakespeare Company, and many more. Casualty came along at a time in my life where we were starting a family, he remembers, and it was brilliant. I ended up staying for 9 years and finished there last year. We did more than 300 episodes, I think, by the end. I went into it without children and came out with an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old, which was kind of bonkers, but I'd wanted to get back into doing a play again, and this tour opportunity came up. George was a keen runner in school, taking part in athletics and cross-country. And then I went to university, he laughs, and picked up the habits of a student. He took up running again while at drama school and started parkrunning in 2017. As well as parkrun, George has recently got into trail running near his home on the edge of the Chilterns. I like putting on my running pack and going up into the hills or running down the canal or wherever, he says. He's also completed a few ultra-trail events. Running now plays a vital part in George's work-life balance. He explains, "You don't have a lot of control in the world of acting over your career. It can feel quite stressful. You can feel a bit despondent, and running has always been a massive help for relieving stress, or actually just clearing my head. I always feel better, just setting off and doing an hour and coming back. Whatever problems or worries I had before often seem much more manageable. And the whole community of people I've met around running is also a really refreshing alternative. I love meeting runners because they're always quite adventurous in spirit, and they've always got interesting stories to tell about running experiences. I did a 3-day event along the whole of the Ridgeway, and the bit I was nervous about was the downtime, where I didn't think I'd know what to say to people. But actually, that was the best bit. We all shared life stories, and it was lovely." As a familiar face, you'd think George would be recognised quite a lot while running, but it isn't always the case. Another quite good thing about running, he laughs, is that runners never watch TV, so I often get completely ignored. Although not everyone who meets George in his running shoes is backwards in coming forwards. The one thing about Casualty is, and I'm not totally sure why, that if people recognise you, they want to tell you, but maybe not to admit they watched the show, he laughs. I did a half marathon once, and I was entering the funnel at the end, catching my breath, about to get the medal, and this guy came up to me, out of breath as well, and said, "Are you on Casualty?" And I said, "Yes." And he replied, "I can't stand that programme, but my wife loves it. Can I have a photo?" Back in 2018, George told the Parkrun blog about his first time at a Saturday event. "I hadn't anticipated quite how enjoyable a free-time 5K on a Saturday would be," he said at the time. "I loved the sense of community of it all, the genuine warmth of the volunteers and the shout-outs to tourists and milestone runners. Plenty of like-minded runners to chat to and, if you like, have a bit of competition with, which appealed to my naturally competitive side, and detailed results efficiently pinged over just a few hours later. I was sold." On tour, George was keen to share his love of parkrun with other company members. "I was actually roping people into parkrun and promoting all the various benefits," he said. "Having done so many different ones, there's always a real sense of doing the right thing, and everyone's supportive of each other. It's great. I think we had 4 of the cast do it in Southend," he smiles, "although some actors don't like getting up at 9 o'clock in the morning, basically." So what has visiting all these different parkruns meant to George? He stops to think for a moment. "I think it's quite a reassuring window into the fact that there are really good people out there, really kind and lovely and helpful people. There's such a narrative of negativity at the moment with, quite understandably, the cost of living crisis, as well as some aspects of social media. And then you go and do a parkrun, and you're not on a device, and you're not worrying about your day-to-day. You're just looking at the scenery, cheering people on, thanking volunteers. It might only be half an hour of your week, but you leave just feeling a better sense of community, and that actually, if we do work together, without sounding too gushy, life's a better place to be."
George is a real inspiration. Now then, when you head on down to your local parkrun, have you ever overheard other parkrunners using the phrase parkrun sandwich? This isn't something you eat afterwards. It's a way of talking about how parkrun can be a part of your Saturday or Sunday morning routine. Parkrun is the sandwich filling, while the bread is all about how you get to and from the event, or what you do either side. There's a huge variety of sandwiches you can try, whether you're going to parkrun for the first time or training for a triathlon. Let's find out more.
Parkrun is a really important part of the weekend for so many of us, but it can also be just one element of how you choose to get active on a Saturday or Sunday morning. We don't mean you need to clock up miles before and after parkrun. Making a parkrun sandwich is all about combining things you enjoy and putting parkrun in the middle. One slice of bread is all about how you decide to get to parkrun. Walking, cycling, jogging, running, it's up to you. Coach, blogger and personal trainer Elle Linton values fresh air on a Saturday morning. I start a parkrun sandwich as a way to avoid using the car and to get more time outdoors, she says. Because we know spending time outdoors is really good for our mental health. So whether I run or cycle, it's a really nice way to get moving before and afterwards. Kieran Alger, writer and editor on all things health, fitness and tech, agrees. You're doing something positive and you don't have to think about parking and all of the other things that come with jumping in a car to get there, which can create stress, especially if you commute by car or do school runs during the week, he says. Not using the car gives you a chance to take a breath and appreciate your surroundings. Parkrun connects people to the community, says Kieran. Making your own way there under your own steam, moving through your local community, gives you a sense of place. One of the brilliant things about a parkrun sandwich is that it has so many combinations. You might choose to walk to parkrun to watch and soak up the atmosphere, or cycle to volunteer, or run a few miles before you volunteer, or walk to parkrun, then walk run. It's all about making a sandwich that works for you. Getting yourself moving just a little before you arrive at parkrun can help both your body and your state of mind. Whatever pace you go at, it doesn't always feel easy to get started, which Elle totally understands. I always find it takes me 2K before I start to feel like I'm enjoying it, she laughs. So having that 2K before parkrun, it means I'm going to enjoy it from the very beginning. Kieran adds, anything that's going to loosen the brain and body, not just physically but mentally as well, I think is good. Just to make you feel a bit more free and a little bit more relaxed and get you into that mode of movement. For the filling, it doesn't matter how much of the parkrun course you want to complete. A sandwich is also a chance to be sociable. Elle explains, if you've got family or friends over who like parkrun, you can go together. For example, my nearest parkrun is a 2.5k loop. Maybe you'll cover one loop while your friends do two, so you get to see your friends. Kieran says, if you want to go to parkrun for the first time, you can stand, soak up the buzz, and you have the sociability. So why not try a sandwich for yourself? Elle and Kieran have come up with a few tasty combinations.
Walk, run to parkrun. Walk, run, parkrun. Walk home.
Walk running to the start eases your mind and body into Saturday morning movement. It also adds extra activity to your routine in manageable bites. Walk running is a great way to build up to continuously running a 5k. Soak up the parkrun support for added motivation in the middle. Finish with an easy meander home.
Family cycle to junior parkrun. Young people walk, jog or run. Grown-ups marshal. Cycle home together.
Here's a filling Sunday morning sarnie, and it's one the whole family can enjoy. Your young people might be old enough to cycle safely by themselves, or they might be on a seat or in a trailer. When you get to junior parkrun, you can grab a high-vis, perhaps with the younger children, while the older ones complete the course.
Run to parkrun. Walk parkrun. Walk home.
This sarnie is a great way to get your run in, but then reduce your pace to walk with plenty of time to take in the views and enjoy the parkrun vibe. You might be walking with friends, park walking, or volunteering as a tail walker. A gentle stroll home is a great way to top off this sandwich.
Jog to parkrun. Do a parkrun that feels fast for you. Jog home.
Aiming to push yourself a bit harder at parkrun. It's smart to arrive warm. Jog slowly to the start to loosen your mind, muscles and joints, and to steadily raise your heart rate. When it's time to move up through the gears for the 5k, you'll be ready. Make your way home at a pace that feels slow for you, so you can gradually return to rest.
Walk, run to parkrun. Run parkrun. Walk, run home.
When you're away for the weekend and find a parkrun nearby, a walk-run to the start line makes it easy to follow a route to find the venue and the welcome briefing, all while avoiding having to rely on public transport or a car. Enjoy running a new course, then take a relaxed walk-run back home or to brunch.
Run to parkrun. Run parkrun. Walk home.
If you're wanting to build up your running time, you can begin your parkrun with an easy run to the start. You'll get a short break before you run parkrun, and of course no one says you have to run the whole thing. Unplanned walking breaks are an option when needed. Enjoy your walk home after a catch-up with friends you didn't see while running.
Cycle to parkrun. Walk to your volunteer spot. Volunteer. Walk back to event HQ. Cycle home.
Cycling to parkrun is a great way to wake up and enjoy some fresh air. It might be quicker than walking to parkrun too. If you need to save some time, choose the volunteer role or marshal spot that works for you to support the park runners. For example, you might like to walk as well as cycle on a Saturday, so pick a marshal post at the furthest away point of the course, before a gentle cycle back home.
Grandparents and young people walk to junior parkrun. Complete the course. Volunteer. Play in the playground. Meet parents or carers. Walk home.
This Sunday morning sandwich is perfect if young people have stayed with Gran and Grandad on Saturday night. After a walk to junior parkrun, the youngsters can walk, jog or run around. Or they might be sorting tokens while Gran is a marshal. A play in the playground afterwards is a brilliant way to use up a bit more energy, and parents or carers can catch up with the family by the swings before walking home.
A long run. Volunteer to jog the course check. Run parkrun at your pace. Walk or run home.
This double-decker sandwich is great if you've signed up for a running event and you want to make parkrun part of your training routine, maybe to give yourself a confidence boost. This sarnie earns you extra time on your feet. Run to parkrun, then jog the 5K course check, followed by the main event at a pace that works for you. Volunteering and the parkrun support will make the miles fly by. Run or stroll home in the glow of a job well done.
Walk to parkrun. Spectate. Walk home.
Tempted by a parkrun sandwich, but unsure you could eat a whole one? This taster is great for settling any nerves you may have about visiting parkrun for the first time. You could find a friend who's taking part and stroll to and from your local event to support them. Or perhaps route your regular morning walk via the parkrun venue and see what's going on. Once you've had a nibble, you'll probably want more.
It's time once again to take a look in the parkrun inbox and share some of the many hundreds of amazing real-life stories parkrunners share with us about how Saturday and Sunday mornings have had a positive impact on their real lives. Here's Tina Saunders, for whom parkrun is truly a family affair.
Tina told us, "I lost my younger brother, David, in a motorbike accident in 2018. I decided to start running in secret to give me a way to cope with my grief. My family suggested I join some of them at parkrun. We have been parkrunning together ever since. I even met my partner at parkrun. We love that parkrun is free for everyone and anyone can get involved. Our group has parkrunners of all abilities, faster runners, newer runners and walkers. My family loves celebrating each other's milestones too. Whoever is coming up to a milestone gets to pick the parkrun we attend that week."
Tina's story is truly amazing. Parkrun has clearly helped her to find a way through a really difficult time. And it also marks the end of this episode. Thanks for your company. Join us for episode 2. If you're thinking about starting a new hobby, it's definitely worth a listen. We'll also find out more about parkrun's status as a charity. Thank you for listening to Parkrun Magazine. We hope you liked the features and enjoyed our simple ways to take steps towards a happier and healthier life. To find out more about your local parkrun event or collect a free copy of the printed magazine, head over to magazine.parkrun.com. Parkrun Magazine is created by Parkrun, with the audio version made possible through editing and audio adaptation by Imogen Lees, and production by Like the Wind Media and Runcomm. If you enjoyed listening, please remember to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with others. That's all for this episode. We hope you enjoy the next one.